All right, guys, got Lee again back here for another part of our series that we've been doing recently, which is a series on kit. We have a previous video on chest rigs, battle belts, bug out bags, and plate carriers. So now our next episode is what we're talking about today is gonna be helmet setup. So we got bump helmets, a ballistic helmet. I'm gonna let Lee kind of introduce himself. For those of you guys that are new viewers, he's gonna let you guys know why he set these up the way he did. With that being said, Lee, if you don't mind, give him an explanation of why you set these up and kind of also the perks, the pros and cons to a ballistic and a bump.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, appreciate it, man.
What we have here is ballistic, bump, and bump. I kind of set these up again as I normally do, as heavy to light. So we'll start with the heavy and go to the light. This is right here an ops core. This is an ops core ballistic. That's why I say it's a heavy. It is running all kinds of stuff, as you can see here. So let me kind of go through why each thing is here. Obviously, first we have here our dual NVGs. So it pops down, we can use those. All this stuff is to help this stuff. So if you're not running night vision, a lot of this other stuff is not really useful. So we have here your typical night vision, right? Drop down. What we have here, we call the reading light. So this is just a small IR light just to look at something in your hand, look at a map, look at something that you need to see. This, on the other hand, is your heavy IR light. So what I can do with this guy is I can roll it straight up and it projects that IR light straight up into the room, but this is a lot of light, much more light than is coming out of this guy. So what this does is it projects that light up into the room and it lights up realistically the whole room. However, why it's on the right side is because I'm right-handed. So I set this up once, turn it on, walk in, and I'm realistically gonna leave this alone the entire time. Where this, I might need to adjust from time to time. So I have that with my left hand, which is my non-gun hand. So I can easily, like this, hold the handgun, adjust that. Where this one, I would have to do this to adjust that. So that's why I have all my heavy lights on my right side. This is actually a Princeton Tech. It does IR, red, green, white. It's probably one of the most military used lights you've seen. It's a really, really good light. It takes one battery. It's solid. It can move around. It can adjust. But this right here is a Surefire. It's a Surefire Vampire, so I can change it to be IR or white light. But for this particular helmet, I always have it set on IR because I'm never really gonna run white light when I'm running nods, ever, really. This piece right here is actually really cool. It's by a company called Thrym, T-H-Y-R-M. It's a Picatinny rail that goes in there that allows me to do this. So I can still mount the light to a Picatinny rail, but it gives me the ability to change it to that umbrella configuration. So that's the IR components on this as of light projecting for me. This is what we call a strobe. This particular one is called a Manta strobe. These are expensive and I'll get into some cheaper options for you. This one's a couple $100, but it is the best. It runs off a CR123 and you push it on like this. By far the best strobe I've encountered. I know S&S was coming out with a new one. I haven't really got hands on that one yet, so I can't vouch for it, but this is probably one of the best on the market. And the reason you would need a strobe, and notice it's on the back of the helmet. So if I'm moving forward and my guys are behind me, this gives my location to my team where they can look out, be third, fourth, fifth man in the stack and see where my team is. These two have a visible color too. So even if you're just moving around at night or during the day, not doing necessarily night ops, you can still have that visible. So what that is connected to, this is the Faro Concepts helmet mount here, which holds my battery pack, and I'll get into battery packs in just a second. So this is the Faro Concepts battery pack mount that connects all this to here and connects this as well, and then I have this tether as well. So all that is from Faro Concepts. So what that does is it, one, holds my battery pack, two, holds my strobe, and three, connects my night vision. So you'll see I have multiple tethers here. I'll get back to that. Getting back to the battery pack, I have a cable that runs here. I have two different sets of night vision with two different cables. So I don't permanently attach my cables to my battery pack or even my helmet because it depends on which night vision I'm using. These run the Lemo where the other ones run the Fisher. So it's two different styles of connection. So sometimes I'll just run it underneath the patch and tuck it in there and then down into here where it connects right up in there. So running a battery pack is cool, guy. I'll be honest with that. I've never in a class or a training run out of the battery that is powered by just the night vision itself. But this is nice because this runs off a 1, 2, 3. This is 4 AA's. So now I can use AA's to power all my night vision, which I think is really cool because AA's, one, are way more accessible, two, a lot cheaper, so I can buy more, have more, and set it up that way. So I can run, like I said, all my night vision off of AA if I want to, or I can run off the straight 1, 2, 3, just depending on how you want to set up, but it's called a redundancy. So we have multiple options. This is a ballistic helmet, so it already has a pretty good amount of weight to it. So I don't really need to counterweight as much on this helmet, hence why I put the battery pack on this helmet, and these two bump helmets are running counterweights in the back. And so the next thing here is Ear Pro. This is the OpsCore amp system. It's relatively new to me. I haven't run it that much, but so far I'm really digging it. It has the arms. Having this feature to cool off is phenomenal. They basically turn into Mickey Mouse ears. They come all the way out and they flay out. Awesome to cool down. Like if it's at night and you're running and you just want to take a break, you pop those out, all the air gets into your system. Then realistically, you can hear a lot better. Even if you're just standing around talking, you can hear a lot better without these on. You can talk at normal voices. As you can see though, the problem is all this, right? All this wire connects these two, and you can tuck them inside. Some people do that. With this version, you cannot. They actually have these Velcro studs here that Velcro straight to your helmet to help you lock away those wires. But this is a wire you can't get away from ever. This is the one that comes down off my Ear Pro and plugs into my push-to-talk on my chest rig or plate carrier. I talked about that in a previous video, but now you get to see where that connects from. So if this is sitting on my head, just like this will come down over my shoulder and connect right into there. It comes down right here. Super clean, super smooth. It's a big deal to have this, but you don't want to make it too long of a lead because then it's just all over the place. It's hitting you in the neck, hitting you in the head, and you don't want to have it too short because then if you pull, it pulls on your whole system. So I would spend the time to make this the right size for what you're doing. Play with it, look around, do all that, because like I said, if I pulled that out, I would completely disconnect my comms. This system right here is all one piece. Like this brand and this brand is one piece to buy. So as we get into these ones, I'll talk about why I adapted them, but this is OpsCore and this is OpsCore. So this all is one piece that mounts directly into the helmet. One thing I do want to mention, as you will see in literally all three of these helmets, I am running the Team Wendy harness system. This is one of my favorite harness systems. It is awesome. The way it works, it is far superior to the OpsCore system, which is a worm dial that you just spin. This works exactly like your snowboarding boots, the BOA system. So you push in like that and you just spin. You can see it tightening up. And to loosen, you just pull straight out and that's it. It works so good. I love it. This is an OpsCore helmet. This is an OpsCore helmet. This is a Team Wendy. I've paid to switch them all to this because it's that good. Again, a failure of OpsCore that I find is their pad system. You can see it a little bit better on this one, but the pad system in the OpsCores isn't really that comfortable. So I've actually paid to switch them both over to the Team Wendy Cloud system. This is a much superior pad system in my opinion. So I'm running kind of a mishmash of things here. So I'm running Team Wendy, OpsCore, and this one will be the same. Team Wendy, OpsCore. I like the OpsCore helmet better than the Team Wendy helmet, but I like the Team Wendy innards better than the OpsCore helmet. It's obviously extra money. I wouldn't say you need to do it right off the bat because each one of these is about $100 to put in there. You already paid how many hundred for your helmet itself. It's probably better to just use what you got and later down the road switch it to a different system. But I cannot talk highly enough about the Team Wendy system. As you can see on 3 different helmets, I've paid to switch over to the Team Wendy system. Again, this is a ballistic helmet where these two are bumped, and ballistic is basically, think of it as a 3A plate. It's designed to stop handgun rounds. It can stop rifle. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed to stop rifle. I wouldn't even say put money on it stopping rifle, but it can. There's plenty of stories of a rifle round coming in, going into the skin, but not breaking the skull and actually moving around the skull underneath the skin so that the round went in here, but the helmet stopped enough of the energy. It just broke the skin, hit the skull, came around, and they had to operate over here to get the round out of their head, which is pretty wild. So I would say this can help 100%, but don't say this is impervious to all bullets because that's just totally wrong. And then again here, I am running some IR patches, which is that same thing when you're projecting that IR light. These will light up at night to kind of help, even if I'm not running a strobe and someone hits me with an IR light, they're still gonna see that reflection. God damn, this is so fucking loud. So we're not gonna get into the full night vision setup today, but this is a Wilcox G24, but I wanted to get into the retention. As you can see here, I have some 550 cord tied into here because of my retention systems. These hooks are basically holding the G24 mount, and this snap shackle is holding the night vision itself, so that even if it disconnected, I still save the night vision from hitting the ground. So that's my retention there. It's 550 cord tied to this, which I can tighten or loosen up here. But you can see, even if this for some reason breaks or disconnects or something, I still have that. And then these go on to hold this not only tight to the helmet, but for say some reason this breaks, this will still hold it. So I have redundancies because again, I'm walking around with a lot of money on my face. And if you're on some sort of mission where you need this, it's crucial to keep it. I don't want to drop it just because I'm stupid and tripped on a rock. Right? So I want to keep all this from hitting the ground as much as I possibly can. And you'll see each one of these has a retention system. So I think that's it on this bad boy. We'll move on to the other OpsCore. All right, so this is an OpsCore bump helmet, which is different. This is actually the carbon bump. So it's actually made of carbon fiber on the outside. But again, this is the Team Wendy Epic Air system and the Team Wendy ratchet. So we've already kind of talked about that. This I do want to talk about real quick. This right here is made by my friend Detour Dynamics. He sews these, but it's so nice. If you're running hot, which I do when I run helmets, if you're running hot, that against your forehead instead of a pad, or even the Team Wendy starts to break down and leave black specks all over your head, this is so good. It's just comfortable. He's on Etsy. It's like 20 bucks. It Velcro's in, so make sure you check your helmet, which kind of Velcro you need, because he makes it for both male and female Velcro. This, again, running the G24 with my super awesome sunglasses, because you never know. Well, since these are already out, let's talk about these. So this is a different set. This is the Peltor Comtac 6s with the axle adapter with the OpsCore arm. So you have to buy the adapter, and you can buy these adapters for different brands. Walker, Peltor, Sorden, any brand you can think of, they have the adapter arm, which is a carbon fiber piece that you put on and locks down with screws. And then your OpsCore piece can actually mount straight into the adapter. So I had to do that on this because I really do like the OpsCore 6s. They're probably one of the best ear pro, in my opinion, on the market. They do have a Bluetooth version that is incredibly more expensive. I have my comms line right there. Fantastic. One of the coolest part about these Comtac 6s is they have an internal radio system. So if I have a pair and Tyler behind the camera there has a pair, I can use the ear pro by themselves to radio him. So we can have inter-squad communication without actually going to our push-to-talk radios. Not only that, but they have a Vox system. It's pretty wild. If we're talking normal, like this volume, and all of a sudden gunfire erupts, it switches over to the mic system, and then now we're talking through the radios. But I didn't have to press anything. It just knows when it hears a certain decibel level, it turns on the microphone, and we can continue that conversation, because those words might be something that's very, very important. It's just a really cool system. The problem with it is it's like $1,000 for a set of ear pro. So there's that.
You got a group of buddies you train with though? And
yeah, if you can get your whole group of buddies to run this, it's totally worth the investment. You can talk, you can run, you can do all that stuff without getting all into radios. But as you can see, they flay out like Mickey Mouse. So when you're standing there, these are out, but I can tuck them away, you know, just like that. So in a pinch, I like to just hold them like this. You look stupid, but if all of you look stupid, then it's okay. Like that when we're just standing around, and then when you get to the shooting, you push them back in. These work a little bit different than the OpsCore specific ones. The OpsCore specific ones have a button that you push that actually puts them back down. These are just on you, just they lock out, they lock in. So I really like the OpsCore mount. I do this for one reason only, because this rail space is precious. I like to use the back here to run my ear pro as opposed to the rail system. A lot of guys, you can see the double wire coming down. I don't like that. For one, when you pop them out, they don't really come that far off your head. So you kind of got to do this weird thing to get some airflow in there. And for two, this rail space, as you can see, I'm using it on both sides on this helmet and on this helmet. So I really like to have that rail space available to me for my different stuff. So this tucks away off the back, which I'm not really running anything off the back anyway. To convert to this, again, it's expensive because you got to buy the arms, you got to buy the adapters, and you got to buy the ear pro. But to me, it's 100% worth it because now I have the rail space and the availability of running this stuff. Again, I come back to this as we talked about earlier. I have the hard light, the heavy light, and then the light light. So the heavy light on this one is an Inforce that can, again, sits on that rail that can spin. I can turn it on and just run it. Actually, on this one, I do have a red cat. So even if I do turn the white light version on, it still won't be true white light, which I like to just kind of keep the muted white lights. On this side, I have the Streamlight, which is the new one called the Sidewinder Stock. And this has multiple options. It has IR, white, off. This mounts directly into that rail and has that adjustable arm again. As you can see, it has multiple outputs there, and it's really easy. The button for on and off is right here. You just reach up, click it on, click it off. And again, I'm doing that with my non-dominant hand. For this, I'm gonna set up once, turn it on, walk away, and it's gonna constantly be on. That's the light system on this. The retention system on this, I actually sewed. It's just a piece of Velcro with that running through it. So that is a retention system on this one. It's a little bit different. I do have the same side retention, so I can set the retention up on this exactly like I did on this. I just made this at home with Velcro. So next we go into the Mohawk here. This is the TNVC Mohawk. So it actually runs Velcro up the top, and this I actually have a counterweight in to counter the weight of your night vision. Obviously with the sunglasses, I don't need a counterweight. The TNVC comes with stuff. I actually just shoved a bunch of batteries in there too, the emergency batteries. And then I have a bunch of lead weights that it comes with. So that's a really key thing where even if I'm out running and I don't have a battery pack like I do on this one, I do have extra batteries so that I can continue to run that night vision even if it dies out. Moving on here, we have this version of the IR strobe. This one is a completely different version. I like it a lot. It's made by Nightcore. I think it's like 30 bucks on Amazon. What I really like about this one is whereas this one runs on a CR123, which is a very valuable battery running my night vision, this one is a rechargeable USB. I'll tell you one thing, I do love it. It comes in this Velcro attachment. The only thing I do not like about it, it is so bright. It is incredibly bright, which is good, but for what you're using it for, you're gonna blind your buddies. So you can see I kind of spray painted it there to mute it down a little bit. You gotta remember, if we're running CQB and my buddy's literally 2 feet, 3 feet from me, this is really, really bright for that purpose. And like I said, it comes with that mount that just Velcros straight on, and it's USB rechargeable, which I really like because I don't have to dedicate a really expensive battery to. I think that's it for this helmet, which is the bump version of this. As you can see, that's why there's holes in it. A ballistic helmet you don't want holes in. Just makes it lighter, faster, and more airflow. But you can see how they're set up very similarly. As I've talked about in my previous videos, that neural pathway you always want to be the same. So even though I have multiple helmets, they're set up very similar, where I have my heavy light, and then my strobe, and then my counterweight and or battery pack with the same G24 drop down arm and the same almost identical tether system. So these two, they're set up very, very, very similarly with function. So now we're gonna move on to another brand that I do really like. This is the Team Wendy helmet, the carbon version of their helmet. They do have a plastic version now that I do really like. It's cheaper, like a lot cheaper. I think this runs in the 800 to 900 and the plastic version runs in the 200 to 300s. And I would totally say if that's the helmet you're gonna get that helmet, no problem. I wouldn't say there's a problem with getting the cheaper one. I just happen to really like the carbon one. It does have a different bracket here where this is a bolt-on bracket, much like these, where the plastic version of this is a molded in mount, which is still good. It still works perfectly fine, just different. Two ways to do the same thing. But the carbon is incredibly light. Again, I'm running those OpsCore arms, like axle adapter, Comtac 6s. Very similar, again, in that whole loadout comes off the back. Oh, one thing I do need to mention, this is a Team Wendy helmet, so the OpsCore adapter does not slide straight in on the rails like it does on these ones. So I had to buy the Axle Team Wendy platform adapter, which was like 20 bucks, but it slides in there, and then you actually take that bolt out and bolt it straight into that. So again, if you're gonna run this system on a Team Wendy, it does add just even another 20 bucks on top of what you've already spent. But again, for me to run that Mickey Mouse version, it's totally worth it, and I'll pay the 20 bucks to adapt this to this helmet. Princeton light, it's easy to turn on with that button right there. And then I'm not actually running a heavy light on this one because this is my lightest of the light. This is just basically, if you're gonna roll around and look at night vision stuff, I do have the ear pro on here because I still wanna wear it sometimes to shoot, but I can always tuck that ear pro away. You can always tuck it away, something like that. I do like this one set up a little bit lighter. It's a little bit cheaper setup than these two. This, for example, this is called a Unity Spark. This is like 20 bucks. It's really good. It's an IR light. The problem with this is a disposable light. So whereas this one's USB, this one's CR123, this one is literally disposable. Once it's done, you just throw it away and buy a new one. But on the other hand, it's 20 bucks. In fact, this one is the exact same way. This is a SNS V light. The reason they designed these two lights like they did is they're completely waterproof now. So this whole light system is encapsulated by the plastic. It's actually molded into the plastic. These are both 100% waterproof because the light is encapsulated in the plastic, and both disposable for that reason. You can't switch the batteries out. Going into the Mohawk on this one, this is one I actually had a friend make me. It's genuine Louis Vuitton leather because I just wanted to do something different just for fun. It's the simple concept of a Mohawk with Velcro and then a counterweight. So same concept as both these, but there's tons of brands out there. TNVC Mohawk is probably the most popular one. The Ferro Concepts is a great one too. This is actually more battery pack friendly. This is more counterweight friendly. So it just kind of depends on what setup you're going for. Where this, you can see I could not run a battery in here.
One question on the light below the Unity Spark. I know you mentioned earlier in the video what the Spark's for. What would you need the light below that one for? So
this is a red light because the Unity does not do a regular light. It only is IR. This is now my visible light. So whereas these two do visible as well, this only does IR and this only does red. I don't run a heavy light on this one because this is more for outside stuff, just walking around, want a light helmet. These are more that I could run CQB if I needed to, so I need that heavy umbrella light. The difference in this helmet and these two helmets is I do have the Team Wendy ratchet system because obviously it's a Team Wendy helmet and it comes with it. But the difference is this is an older version, so this actually has the Team Wendy harness in it. It's kind of a weird system, but it is incredibly comfortable. But again, I'm running Ear Pro just because you never know. I may want to run this, especially if you're running like a daytime thing where you want to run a helmet, but you're not going to be running night vision. This is still a really good helmet to have the Ear Pro on, but run the lightweight, cooler helmet. I think that's everything on these. There's different ways to skin the same cat. It's just how you want to do it. You can see literally I've set these up 3 different ways and I'm not married to this goes on every helmet. This goes on every helmet. Try stuff out, try different things. I like the SNS Manticore, but it's expensive. So I tried this and I tried this. So I'm trying different things. I'm very happy with the way they're set up because of the helmet setup itself. I don't need this on this all the time. So just a little something there.
I know we're gonna do a future video on night vision. Just one question on the mounting system. If one of us did just have a PVS 14 and not binos, do we need a J-arm? I heard that you need a J-arm for that by chance for the Wilcox.
So to mount to the Wilcox, you're gonna need an arm that articulates, say this one doesn't exist, it will have to articulate your night vision out, but that's more connected to the night vision itself rather than the arm. So you would literally bolt it onto your night vision and leave it there. So when you buy your night vision, you should see it should come with some type of method to lock into this. If not, you'll have to like shoot us a comment or something and try and figure it out for you. But yes, you will need something that connects it to that angle because obviously if it connects straight down, it'd be in the middle of your forehead. So these are dual night vision, so that's why I don't need that. It connects directly in. As you can see, it connects directly in like that, and then just goes to straight both my eyes. So again, night vision will be something we'll go into depth later because there's all kinds of different stuff. You guys can see I'm running all kinds of different doodads on these to protect them. But night vision is a whole nother can of worms in your helmet. But unfortunately, if you want to get into night vision, guess what? Night vision, mount, and helmet is a minimum. That kind of sets up the helmets for you here. So what I wanted to get into is you guys have obviously seen how much money I have in these helmets, right? Yeah, there's a lot of money. So I spend a lot of money to protect them too. So I'm gonna grab something real quick. This is a key feature right here, to have a nice helmet bag to protect this. I don't wanna just leave this laying around. This is a lot of money's worth of stuff. So I can keep this in here just like this, and it protects it pretty nice. So I have a nice padded case. This is actually the T3 case. It opens up, holds my whole helmet. It will hold the ballistic and or the bump and keep it nice and padded. Does have some pockets in here that I can run some stuff. In fact, I have my GoPro mount in here, so my GoPro will mount straight to my helmet. This is an investment. Protect your investment. Kind of a easy concept there. I ordered this, I think I had it within a day or two because I am local to San Diego, so I was pretty stoked. And it just literally zips right up. And then now you got a nice little helmet bag. So that's pretty much it on the helmets, guys. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to go through on there because it's not a whole lot to go through. It's kind of the same thing. You got your lights and your mounts and your battery packs, but these are the helmets I run. If you have any, I know there's other brands out there. There's Hard-Headed Veterans. There's, I think Cry Airframe or something. I can't remember who makes the airframe. But so there's other options, but these are the 3 I like, and mostly I like the Ops Core with the Team Wendy conversions on the insides. That's, for me, seems to be the best setup. But a lot of people, like I said, just find what you like or find what you can afford, to be honest, and then go from there. And then here's Tyler.
So again, just want to say thank you, Lee, for bringing out your helmets and going over your setups. I know it's going to come down to what you're trying to do and stuff and what your budget is. But if you were on a budget and you could only get one helmet, what's a recommendation? I'm not saying it's the best, but what's a recommendation you would get, like an entry-level helmet setup on a budget?
Honestly, I would probably avoid a Ballistic because it's gonna get really expensive. I'd probably go with a plastic version of the OpsCore. I know OpsCore's reliability and brand, so I'd probably go with that.
Awesome. Where can we book a class for Barely Training?
That is a great question. Just go to barelytraining.com, B-E-A-R-L-Y training.com. We have night vision classes, which you took. And one thing I did want to, as soon as we start that class, I make everyone put their helmets on, even though it's not dark.
Yeah.
I make everyone put their helmets on.
Awesome.
Because now they're just acclimating to that weird, oh, it's clunky, it's heavy, it's big, and just shooting. So now you kind of absorb that, okay, it's not new anymore. So that when it does get dark and we switch to the nods, this is out of your mind.
You're already
because
used
it's
to it.
already part of your shooting system.
That's a great point, you guys. That reminds me as well, obviously I don't have night vision yet. I am gonna get some here pretty soon. But if you do have night vision or if you have a helmet, don't think you only have to go shoot with it. You can go on hikes with it, all that type of stuff, just to get familiar and get comfortable with it. So just wanna say thanks again. And again, check out barelytraining.com. I did try out his night vision class, not just because he's my good friend. I'm actually being honest as far as it is a great class, especially for entry-level people that are new to night vision, and then the advanced stuff as well. People that have been shooting night vision a lot there were learning stuff as well. So from all types, a beginner and advanced. So again, make sure to check out a night vision class, also EDC classes, rifle classes, all that good stuff. And if you are here in San Diego, it's at a private range in Escondido, so you don't have to drive out to the desert or Vegas or none of that stuff to get night vision. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, shoot me a comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.